Let me know if I'm live. Am I really live? Wait, hold on. I have to get. This is recording terribly and echoey, so I have to do backup. This is audio. Okay, hold on. Sorry. It's the end of. It's the last 6 minutes of January 7th. With all these calls for removing the president and we're trying him for seditious behavior or impeaching him. Wait a minute. Hold on. Turn on this. Wait. Okay. There, wait. Hello? Okay, cool. So, wait. Instead of me talking, I always talk too much anyway. I want to feel what we feel. Like, so it's not just, it's like how to open the hearts of every dictator on earth, not just Trump. Because whether we can get him out in the next 13 days or not, it's about people knowing we're all in it together. You know, I got so sad when there was a woman from Kentucky. It was on C-SPAN for earlier yesterday, in between. Was it after the Capitol had been breached? And she was just talking about the communists, and you wish everybody saw the entirety of everybody else's family whenever they spoke or thought about anyone, right? I can beat myself up, and I do beat myself up parts of every day for not being awake enough to like what everybody on earth is going through. But feelings, emotions go around the earth. They circle around the earth like weather patterns, you know? It should be like really energizing and kind, nourishing, helpful weather patterns, not like the baby teeth experiment from Brookhaven Labs out on Long Island, where they asked parents to send in the baby teeth of their kids, because this at the end of the 50s and the beginning of the 60s, the baby teeth had this high concentration of this radioactive material, strontium 90, and because of all the, the circling of the atomic blast, the testing, and just circling around the globe, and you saw that with Chernobyl, and then it gets okayed to, because north, like following the winds north of Chernobyl, going into like the British Isles, and you have animals, grazing on grass and then going to turn it into milk and cheese. And after a few months, it's still not safe at all. It's like, just think of like Chernobyl and like radioactive forests for generation and generation and generations. And just think of it. It's like, so many of your indigenous friends would say like, well, where's home? Where's your homeland? It's like, oh, where our ancestors are buried. Although I fail in a million ways every day, but I also fail in not knowing where my ancestors from where Ukraine are buried. That town, as far as I know, I don't think it's around anymore. So we've been hearing for many decades, Strelisk in Ukraine, and it had been in Poland in World War II, and then World War I. Before World War I, it was with Austria-Hungary, but Ukraine, and then that's 3/4 of my grandparents from Ukraine. Kiev, Odessa, and then Grandma May, her parents. She wasn't from Belarus, but they were from Belarus. And then you have Lukashenko still there, for the last 26 years. Sorry, I'm sorry, I'm going on. The point is about sending love to every dictator. So Lukashenko and Xi and Modi and Assad and Duterte and Orban, all these folks will get sent so much love that they'll suddenly all their the people they've been hating and really well practiced at hating, suddenly everybody starts looking like their best friends and their grandparents and their grandkids. So wait, dude, I'm such an idiot. Wait, hold on. I have to find a way to plug this in, because otherwise, because the good thing, if we can't, we can find it, don't worry. All right, so what are you doing while I'm looking to find this over here? What are you folks doing? I think there's probably maybe 1 or 2 people that might be watching this, because I don't know how to really upload it or anything. So it's just, I don't know how somebody would come across it. So is everybody doing? Wait a minute. Dude. So in E, See, all right, it's going to sound, sorry if it's going to be so distorted on this recording, but I'm doing backup recording. So just get hold of me if you want to, you and your grandkids and grandparents and some of your goats and fish want to add yourselves on to make a song that I'm making up now, to make it better. You're very, very welcome forever. Whoever hears this in whatever lifetime, they're very, very welcome to add whatever. Because the key is I have no clue and I'm just trusting spirit. So that's whatever wants to get born. So. Yeah, your head, it helps. You bring anything with love like right now. Sunday night fun. Sunday night, oh well. You're choosing to bring it with. Bringing it whatever it might be. You are bringing it with love. You are bringing it with love. You are bringing it with love. What to do with dictators? Bring them so much love that they will feel so at home. They'll stop trying to grab hold of everything. They'll feel so at home. Their needs will finally be heard. That's why I keep writing down the hashtag of Marshall Rosenberg. Even though he's way, way dead, still helping out. Go on YouTube and find out. He died like about 5 or 6 Februaries ago. So Marshall Rosenberg. He was this therapist too. He would say he didn't at all, but he's like founded a Center for Nonviolent Communication. So if you look up cnbc.org. So whenever you think you have a critic or you think you have an enemy, because he's gone, he's been sent by, like, when he was alive, he'd be sent by the UN and different NGOs to broker peace energy, to have people hear each other's hearts in areas where genocide had been going on. Like he'd go to Rwanda, he'd go to Serbia. So this is Marshall Rosenberg. He'd go to like West Bank and Gaza, and they might start out with people just hating him so much because, he's Jewish, and they're like showing him rockets that have come in, made in America, fired from Israel. But he gets everybody sitting down hearing each other's heart, because it's all based on everybody wants their needs to be heard. So instead of, because of all those years he had got his PhD under Carl Rogers, and but he didn't like the idea of just most therapy is just good, bad, reward, punishment. So like more jackal, what do you call jackal mentality? So it's like jackal ears, listening with jackal ears instead of with uh, giraffe's ears, which is like the largest heart of any land mammal. It's the biggest heart. And plus, you got the really long neck to look beyond the claustrophobia of the moment, to look out, and see like all the possibilities. So anyway, you listen with giraffe ears, and what you thought was criticism, what you thought because people come, like, he'll not only work with people who are like I said, dealing with genocide, like in Rwanda and Serbia, but he'll go to work couples counseling, or have bosses at their work, or like the principal and the school teachers, and just for family, therapy, and getting people to hearing each other's needs, not like you make me think this, but like just really just practicing listening, which is I'm just really good and really really terrible at. So this is like the safe way. So this is going live, and whoever's saying something, I wouldn't even know if I don't even know how to type anything, and it's good. Seriously, I think, it says, according to this, I think one person is watching, but that might be including me, so I don't know. But I've said to friends over the years, for decades, that because I'm scared to death to leave being inside, and I'm always glad that I went outside, unless I die that day, but it's always a good day to die, because it's like, even though I fail at this thousands of times a day, I also succeed at this thousands of times. It just keep vacillating between. Maybe it's not thousands, maybe it's hundreds, but it's like everything's always shining, like every love light ever, and I'm just too scared to look at it because it's so bright. So the only thing we're ever scared of is love. So if I'm scared to go outside, I'd be like, actually, I don't have a mirror up here. Well, I have a mirror somewhere. I haven't looked at it in a long time, but downstairs, the public bathroom, there's a mirror, and then you look at yourself. There, like I did dry toothbrush in because in case I was going to bump someone out, because I had no idea because I hadn't brushed my teeth yet today. So, but see, oh my God, I'm a pig. But now I just did. So, wait, hold on. So we're picturing whoever could use love light right now, like any dictator. Think of it. If you're being a dictator in Poland, or in Hungary, or in Turkey, or in Philippines, or in China or India. Just think of it. Like, how much love could we send? So that dictators in China, like Xi in China and Modi in India, so they would like want to be kind to and see every Muslim person as if they're their best friend, as if they're their kid, as if they're their grandkid, as if they're their grandparent, as if they're their sweetheart, as if they're just the dearest friend, whatever. And how, because that's all it takes is people, because that's what all the rioting and the Capitol is, just breaking into the Capitol, it's always about immigration. And we've always been taught to be scared of the other until when you're okay about it. Once you're living with the other or working with the other, it'd be like, oh, these folks are just as wonderful as my family, or they're as wonderful as anybody I've ever known ever, just like everybody's got that love light. So that's what we got to wish for everybody, because nobody's born to want to kill. Nobody's born to want to be a dictator. And it's weird. Like, if we don't believe in killing, then why would we kill for the president? So even if it's not a generalissimo, it could be the president. Like, because even when we go back, it's going to take, the old saying, price of freedom is eternal vigilance. So it's going to take our commitment. And I'll look at it in terms, because they made me name this or something before we went live now. And I think it says something like as long as something about with trying Trump for sedition, but it's like we all fail every day at seeing the community energy that's needed in every interaction, and Trump is just, everything's transactional. If somebody is wonderful to him and praises him to the moon and won't get in his way, then he's like gold. But then the second you're not, then if you're Pence, you're amazing until you stand up to him yesterday. Or William Barr, Mitch McConnell, William Barr, then we'll kiss his ass for the longest time. So they wait, like, it's like you wait, history will only remember the last 1% of what Barr did. McConnell, I don't know. And then McConnell's wife is the first cabinet member to leave. And then that gives, so far, the only two cabinet members I know, they're both women. So that's, I really look forward to Kamala as a leader, and then just being president after being vice president. It'll be so wonderful, and for all the ways that like Joe Biden's broke our hearts over the years, I'm happy with a lot of, not all of. I always have issues with some choices. There'll always be other choices I would totally make, but I, so far. But he's not president yet. But so far, I like how much they're looking. But like that's it. AOC, the Squad, everybody else, like the eternal, the Paris Accords, the Rio '92. We have to hold. If not, I hate this term, feet to the fire. But that's it. The planet's just going to be burning. I'm thinking, like, what are the really, they get to be like up to 50 pounds, and they're marsupials, but instead of having the pouch on their front of the belly, it's on their back. Because a year ago, like 13 months ago and a year ago, like was these most intense fires in Australia, and like so many animals, and I stutter a bunch sometimes, but that wasn't just stuttering. It really was so many animals got saved by, I think it's wombat. Is that the marsupial? So because it digs tunnels, and so you don't want the dirt getting into the pouch with your baby in it. So the pouch in the wombat is it the wombat? Am I saying it wrong? I'm sorry. I'm always saying stuff wrong. So the wombat's marsupial pouch is on their back, so they can tunnel, and then all these smaller animals. Think of all these rodents, all these amazing little beautiful animals that are smaller than the wombat, that could go and get in there and hide in the tunnels from the fire going over. And that's how thousands and thousands, and how many thousands of animals got saved. I don't know. So miracles everywhere. I think it was me. Sorry. I can't believe. So sorry. Not sorry. Oh, there still might be one person, or I might be the only one person watching now. But it's going out vibrationally, on a cellular level, through every algae into the single cell, the alga, the ALGA. I don't know how anything works. But I know that I'm still going to sing to like every COVID protein, and every cancer cell, so that whatever's thinking of wreaking havoc, and then doing such destruction and then killing the host, like sing to all the COVID proteins, sing to every cancer cell. The second I find that someone has, whether I know them or already love them, or just I don't know them yet, if you find out someone has cancer, it's like, you interview every cancer cell. Be like, is there something you'd rather be doing? You don't want to just be killing and consuming something. Like, is there something you wanted to sing or write or dance or swim towards or something? And and they'll say, well, my grandparent was a cancer cell, and my great-grandparent was a cancer cell. Like, what would you love to most do? Oh, we got to pass HR 8662, and in the Senate, the version is 4867. It's the Act for ALS Act. That still did not go through after 278 co-sponsors in the House of Representatives. The session just ended. We have to start again. And it was 7071, and then in late October, the HR 7071 became HR 8662. Like I said, the corresponding one is, 4867. Think of like 48 states before Hawaii and Alaska, and 67, like for some reason, Expo 67. Oh, sorry, wait. So that was still E the whole time? I'm an idiot. All right, wait. We all sit in the breath of each other. We are birthed from the breath of each other. Here you are, sung from the heart of every other. Here you are, birthing from the love light of each and every other. Go and sit in the breath of every, whether you're being tried for sedition this week or not, whether you're going to be impeached or not, whether you're going to try and overthrow all these institutions just so you can hold on to power. Don't you want to help Earth sometimes? Don't you want to be kind to Earth sometimes? Everyone's really family. Actually, you'll boost your immune system. So kindly will you remember, everywhere is family. Everyone his family. So it's G. So stand up to every dictator. It's easier. You won't be sent to a gulag for 30 or more years. Have to destroy the poems that you made because you could get extra years added to your sentence if the poems that you just made today are found out. Met this wonderful soul, this artist from China who said he had to keep. I mean, by the time I met him, he was getting ready for later that night. He was going to have this one-person show in Soho, but I'm trying to remember exactly where it was. And I was only drawn to some of the art that he made, but I was just the person. He was so wonderful, and he had to destroy his art. He had to keep destroying what he'd made so he wouldn't get extra time added to his sentence to be found with making this more and more of this art. So that was like really inspiring, right? Because I love, well, it's hard. The color's so different right now because it's how low lighting, but I would change my mind on like 90% of usually whatever I paint. Like if you visit someone that you haven't seen in a year or more, or a few years, and they have this art up from years ago, and they have to tackle me because I want to go immediately. The first thing walking in their house, I just want to change the painting. I may have loved it so much 3 or 10 or 20 years ago or 25 years ago when I made it, but it's like, oh, I would do this and this because I've been doing all this other, and adding and adding, and it's just art is you at your most fearless. Well, that's how I feel about it. But everybody's always right. Everybody's my teacher. So usually, if I wait till the next day or wait a few hours, just breathe a little bit off into wait until the next day, and then look at the painting or paintings, and I'll be like, oh no, I'm okay with it. Okay, I can understand how I want to stop there, because you just want to leave it in a state where it's okay, But like, I think it's healthy that I've gotten more relaxed about being okay about leaving so many things unfinished. You do the best you can with each thing, but then you just want to. It's like choosing which thing you'd like to add on to, and you don't have to. Like something could stay a field. You don't have to plant a million things in it, and something could. Like it freaks me out when I go back to New York in more recent years. Just the skyline, how it's just this never-ending building and building and building. Well, that changed since 12 months ago, since 10 months ago. So what are you doing? So I hope during COVID-19, this is practice for what the rest of Earth's going to be like for quite a while, which is just that we're going to be more plugged into and more prone to freak out over, but more prone to also fall in love with the fact that everybody's so connected. Like we can't get in the way of how we can, but it's just, we'd laugh at ourselves for just getting in the way. But we can't get in the way of the fact that it's everyone's on Earth together at this moment, trying to breathe clean air and drink clean water, and the fact that I'm saying this to you live again, I think there's one person out there. I think it just says one person's looking, and it's we're 23 minutes in, which is like, I always wonder. Michael Jordan probably had reasons why he picked number 23 back in North Carolina before Chicago, but like 23 is the degree of, that's the tilt of the Earth, so we can be a Goldilocks planet, and that again, but every number is the perfect number, is the most sacred number ever, right? And all the numbers are off a bit, right? The old school, and like, because remember, like you had, like I'm so old growing up and going to school and as a kid in the 60s, and you had Washington's birthday, a certain day, but there's old style, because in 1582 they changed the Catholic countries, like, so in France it became October 4th. The next day I think became October 15th. So they just skipped, I think, 11 days. And then they did it again for the countries that hadn't done the change in 1582. They changed the calendars in like in 1752 or 1753. So like British colonies, so England changed it and the colonies changed it. So we were ignoring the change in the calendar. We were like off by 10 or 11 days, like from 1582 to 1752. So just off all those days. See, I'll meet you there. Like, what day of the week is it? And then when Napoleon in 1790 something, we were just talking about this. I think we were just a couple of weeks ago. He said instead of it being 1790 something, we're going to call it year one. And instead of calling this month this name, we're going to call it for this grain. We're going to change some of the size of the weeks, I think, in months. And somebody could go. Actually, there was less sharply divided appointments that you had to be at. I think in the 1790s, right? Like, what would our brains be like if we were all growing up near each other, like 1,000 or 1,100 or 1,200 years from now? There'd be like maybe 2 bells all day, and there would no electricity except for the electricity in our hearts. And so while waiting for like the plug-in instruments to show up, you can feel your heartbeat like going through everything. Oh wait, sorry. So that was it was in G. Okay. Sorry. Hold on. Oh, every dictator needs so much love that they won't know what to do except love. No one's born to be a dictator. Show them all the joy that's waiting for them. Think of most elected offices. Once you start getting high up, it starts getting so makes you just scrunched instead of flowing, because you have to be at all these meetings, and you have to be deciding the fate of peoples. But why can't you do it in a singingly manner, in a thankful manner, in a nibbling manner? And that was at the Universal for nibbling. That's like if I had a mustache that went on forever. Like how to sing from the heart of everyone, how to get near the heart of everyone, how to want to care about the heart of everyone. Why would we think the world's not family? Why would I ever think the world's not family? What is ever going on that makes me think that the world's not family? The world is family. Why would I think it's not? The world is family. Why would I think it's not? It's like, Trump, and it's when we get rid of Trump, there's always going to be some dictatorial impulse of folks that want their hearts to be heard. You can see how he knows how to work a room, right? When he gets so comfortable in figuring he has the room, and he gets, it's like, that's the most frightening thing, when somebody could know how to be charming in a moment, and that could just freak you out, because like anybody, any human on earth can have nice qualities, and you want to look for the nice qualities, but there's such a never-ending thirst on Trump's part to just gobble up all the praise in every room ever. And instead, so early on, when he first was elected, Even before when he was just president-elect, I just kept making songs and putting prayers out into life that he would peacefully go into a self-induced coma. No, seriously, like Trump in a self-induced coma, joyfully making him so happy. That's the point. He put himself in the coma because he doesn't want to wake up, because Trump's approval ratings in the coma are like 98%, 98.5%. So he doesn't want to wake up until he knows he can turn it around. He knows he can. In that sense, he's very much like Clinton. Clinton, you would have his full attention if you're the one who's not approving of him. If you go back to the primaries on C-SPAN, during the primaries, so like in February of '92, March '92, and if there'd be one, like you see a news reporter that was not approving and giving Clinton a hard time, we had to go into charm, extra charm offensive. And it's sad because it's instead you could be and if you're sitting with powerful folks who really can affect policy at any given moment, just pick up a phone and you go oh, well, here's a tribe who was going to be wiped out because of people that sit on the boards of these earth-moving corporations like Bechtel, let's say, and these different oil companies that are going to go and just be really tough on the land and tough on the water and change the grandparent who's always had a water source a certain way. It's not all these dams that are being built. It's really crazy. And people, if you get in the way, you just see every year the murdering of eco-activists, in Central America, South America, just when you look at people standing up to dams. Look at the dams being built in Africa and in India and sorry, I'm slowing down. So that's the prayer mode, because most wars in the century are going to be about water, probably. And you say, well, I can't relate because we have water. Yeah, but everybody's made of mostly water. Or if a baby's healthy, right, they're at the highest water content. Just you could think about who's ever going through whatever heartbreak on earth right now. It's not cheating to think of who you love, and they make it easier we think of who we love to deal with pain, but then they have the heart so wide that you'll tell them weeks and months later, oh, we were thinking about folks who were dying right now, or who couldn't help their kids or their parents who were dying right now. And there's nothing they could do to stop them from dying, but they could surround them with love. They could sing to them. They could just, even if from thousands of miles away, we're just picturing, the person who's dying, just that they're being just loved, just right there, blessed on the top of their head, and so as we get closer and closer, hopefully there should be so many people in your life you can tell your entire truth to. Hopefully that's everybody, Well, no, if the boss, the principal, the cop that pulled you over says, oh, so do you know how fast you were going? Or what were you thinking about those last few miles? Oh, I was thinking about everything. I didn't even realize I was on the road, or singing a song, making up a song. I didn't even realize I was in the state of Massachusetts or something. So, but you're giving the white lie to the cop or whoever's in the officious office, trying to keep control and what's the old saying? Don't get into an argument with somebody who can't say yes, right? If somebody's blocking a door but they can't let you in, or they're thinking of themselves as not being able to convey a message to someone even 100 feet away, or to pass a message on so someone else can make a call to someone and they'd be the person to let you in or know what the gift you have for them. But that often is a blockage, and it's okay, because that's when you realize everybody's family. So instead of saying no, this must get to the person in there, as long as it's not something really amazing that they were waiting for, that you have to get through, and then you can hold it to later when you see them or something. But most interactions are with somebody you'll never see again, and you want whoever you're interacting with, you want to be able to give them whatever sacred thing that's the great thing. That's what I wish for you making art, because this way you're just always you don't know what it's going to look like a minute before, and then you give birth to it, and then you love it so much that you're tempted. I'm selfishly tempted to not want to give it away, and then I'm like, well, I have to, because if my hands didn't work, I couldn't have made it. And if that person's smile wasn't so wonderful, it's a person you'll probably never see again. You're going on trains going the opposite direction. It's this like 94-year-old woman in a wheelchair that you just have such love light pouring out of her, so you want to go up and say, here, have this, and just like a person 94 maybe has dementia, maybe not, but just the idea of it. The whole point of art is it can make you, just like music, it can make you present in that moment, and well, the person, she could think she made it, maybe, because I don't even know a lot of stuff. I'm like totally surprised when somebody shows me, you made this. Really? Okay. I'm glad. You want to surprise yourself with different ways of singing with paint. Wait, oh, sorry, we're going off yourself. Oh my God, 35 minutes. Sorry, we're almost at that sacred 36 there. No. But every number has that sacred light, love light poured through it. So A then, to switch to A. Yeah, you sung the lights of everyone that's ever lived around. The songs of every breathe out. The heart of every sound. It's how you're getting through here. You love to be around when you're alive on earth. Let us know you're alive on earth. Bringing love alive. Just let us know how you like us to help Earth now, along with you. To B flat then, okay. So, all right, picture like every grandmother on earth right now, and what would they like us to be meditating on? So. You can include every other being and anything else that would make your heart happy. Sorry if that's so echoey and so loud. Like I said, I have this music, other recorder backup. So, like I said, if you or your, like I said at the beginning, if you have a 3-year-old or 94-year-old friend, it could be of any species, anybody wants to add in and make something better, because you're just trusting spirit and whatever wants to get born. So you say yes. Let every argument hear the other's heart. Let every enemy know they are a friend to every enemy. Everyone is the friend of every other. Deep down, when I'm not scared to bring love, turns out there's no such thing as enemies. As we work this whole sedition thing out, this whole overthrow thing out, when we work everything out to hear each other's hearts, who are you gonna keep from sitting, presiding over all the others? They went and got Archbishop Tutu, brought him from South Africa, asked him to come to Rwanda so he could do another Truth and Reconciliation Commission to hear each other's hearts, even though all these folks have killed each other. Folks who were neighbors just in Rwanda, just killing each other. People just got issued radios and then propaganda over the radios to kill people. And so, so what Trump is doing is like mild so far compared to the actual loss of life. Well, no, if you add in everybody from COVID, and we have like an averaging like last number of days, like 3,600, 3,500 a day, even above that. But it's been at least 3,000 a day for a while now. So, and then again, and now I want to say, so South Africa is the largest amount right now in Africa, but it's about where you're reporting from, because there's a lot of places that just are not doing testing, where folks feel like it's, you want to get truth to folks. You want to get actual information, just like the perpetuating horrible myth that, by folks by guys having sex, they would get rid of their AIDS by having sex with a girl, with a virgin, and then you can't be this like paternalistic white person coming and teaching, but you have to work with the elders. You have to reach the elders to say like, no, nothing, but like, common sense is going to keep you from AIDS, abstinence being the ultimate, but, just, and so heartbreaking, because I keep thinking about that because of trying to get HR 8662 passed, the Act for ALS Act, because that's they're feeling like the way that could be most likely to have it not be 100% fatal disease ALS would be like a cocktail, like what they arrived at for AIDS, so like a number of different drugs together at once. So if 8662 passes, hopefully soon, hopefully this session, prayerfully, hopefully. It's so sad because until a few days ago, it was just trying every day, just hoping and praying that it could pass this last session that just ended. So, but it's not just ALS, all these other motor neuron diseases, these other motor neuron degenerative diseases, like what Levi works with downstairs. That's, if you look up, type in FromPatientToPerson.com. That's Levi's company just downstairs here. And working with folks with rare genetic disorders, and they'll go anywhere in this country, or they'll go anywhere in the world, as long as they can get there, to get the story of someone, and record them and their family of how they're getting through this rare genetic disease together. So you can type in From Patient to Person or Living in the Light, and these really, really wonderful souls. Like, that's how if you come to the building, you get up to the third floor. Just one floor below, and the elevator you open up into this somebody who, well, she's like, Maria's like 10 now, but she's 6 in the picture. It's like a 6-foot picture of her on her motorbike in Pakistan. She has this Morkio. She has Morkio, and then all these wonderful beings, these wonderful humans that you get to see in these 3-4 foot pictures. Their faces just there to bless you on the way down to Levi's. So Levi started in 2012, and good healing to his dad and the hospital. His grandpa Levi just went and self-quarantined and then went down to Florida and was helping. He's going to visit to be with his grandparents, because his grandpa is not remembering a lot of things, and he just was really hungry for a visit. And the miracle that Levi could be across the street and then come up really close, and not, just not even to have the glass, so that the sacredness, you could see each other's heart through glass, And right, there's people I love so much that I haven't hugged in the last year, you know. And but you can like send spirit hugs through class, you know. There, Levi's one of those friends that we see each other, we like give each other spirit hugs, but from like 6 feet or more away. And so if you have the ability to send someone love right now, someone who could use love right now. See, I was afraid to be a girl or a grandmother when I was a kid growing up in Queens. So I didn't get to do Miss Mary Mack. So I was felt like sacred prayerful jammy ceremony, but like fun, just like sending I missed out. I didn't get to play jacks. I still don't know if I know how to play jacks. Oh, wait, that's the one where you bounce the ball and then you pick up the jack. Yeah, pick up the jacks. I never really learned it though. So Miss Mary Mack, all dressed in black, like Johnny Cash. Is Johnny Cash dressed in black until like everybody's being treated kindly, fairly, equally. Along those lines, so a lot of the hashtags, because you got to go in like a minute. I think, oh, dude, 46. We've been on 46 minutes. My God. Okay. So, I keep putting out the hashtag I don't know more. And also water is life is another, but because those are both always indigenous issues being taken on, with heart, because we're all of Earth's community together. That's it. Everyone is Earth community. Everyone is Earth family. So, but those in like a human rights campaign and just human rights, for everyone, for Tibetans, Uyghurs, and just like everyone. And you start typing in everything. And even if one extra person sees it, because you type in the word, the hashtag, type in, compassion, or choose compassion, or you choose like love. And love has so many millions of posts, hashtag. And then peace gets a lot. Compassion gets a lot. Wow. And then I get specific, and then I know that I'm one of only two, or maybe I'm the first one to whatever wonderful dead folks or future folks got me to write like, sit down and hashtag, sit down and breathe until you can hear what every grandmother on earth is saying right now. And they're saying about how can we help Earth with all the love in the world right now, and do it gladly. That's the thing. It's like if Mitch McConnell, and Lindsey Graham and all these folks like knew what joy that was waiting for them, just choosing to be fair instead of defensive and like, no, don't come across the border, because the whole white thing is like, hi, we weren't here, we're from Europe and we took over the country, and like we can't. There were millions of Arawaks and they're all dead now, and because that was our manifest destiny, but we want to be left alone. We got here first, so we want to like just block out, and. Sorry, my relatives came over when it was before the 1920s. They came over like in the 1880s, and it was my grandma came over like 1920. My grandpa Harry, and I love him. Oh my God, yeah. So wait a minute. So, but my dad's dad and mom came over. No. So the only one that came over, the only grandparent that came over in this generation. Now I'm getting so confused now. I could say tired. It just shows. This is the good thing. My mom, I'll give my mom a call tomorrow and ask her. When I forget, like the history of, which relative, what name, and there I was talking to my brother today because he's being so wonderful. My brother and sister are both being so wonderful. My mom we just lost my stepdad, like just 1 month ago on December 6th. And Milt was like the best stepdad ever, But my sister and brother being amazing, they're being for my mom, We all can't be with her in Florida, and there's it's not like up here. My mom's 88 and it's like 60. There's so many millions of people lining up to get the vaccine because it's 65 and over there. And Florida is like probably far and away the largest percentage of people that are 65 and over. I think, yeah. Maybe Arizona's second. I wonder, because those are the biggest like retirement spots. God, sorry. Anyway, so Milt, he was the best stepdad, and now he's getting to hang out with my dead dad, the two of them. And my mom and I always felt like, it's like my dead dad made it possible so that my mom and my stepdad could fall in love. And they didn't fight at all. They just had all this love between them. And they were married just like 3.5 miles away from here, from this congregation with a really kind rabbi. And it was his first year of being a rabbi. Justin, wow. Because he got arrested twice in that first year, standing up when Trump became president. You know, like the first time, like when he was standing up and doing the Muslim ban, and there were different protests at airports, but some interfaith ministers got arrested down at got arrested at Trump Tower, and then Justin went when they had at ICE headquarters down here in Springfield, where you do like the Joshua, like walls of Jericho coming down right near where the NPR with their local, National Public Radio is. ICE headquarters. So it made me feel good to tell my mom and stepdad when Milt was still alive, to tell them that, oh, the rabbi who married you, he's got arrested twice now protesting Trump. And they had this abundance garden, like anybody can come from any belief system or any age or any degree of poverty or non-poverty. I can come and take vegetables, and help. It can help grow too, if you want. As always, I hope this community garden's near you. It could be one of the things that, like, I know it's tough now. I'm saying this to you because if you're not, there are at least people going through COVID. I'm just thinking folks who are going through COVID in the Southern Hemisphere where it's summer and it's less transmissible. Yeah. So when we get too overwhelmingly cold, we'll just send that cool air to whoever's. We always do this. Loved ones and I do this, and we send that cool air to the Southern Hemisphere, and we're like, send it back. Send us some of that warm air back. For our heat. Put a little heat on the back or something. All right, I'll be quiet because we were going 52 minutes, and that's how long I think Shakespeare and Zappa lived. So thank you, every grandmother ever. Thank you, every Earth ever. We hope if any Earths want to send any messages about how they handle dictators, like we might find out that like God didn't know how to handle Trump, so God came up with COVID just so we'd get out of our own heads and grow our hearts even wider to hear the needs of each other. And everybody that's ever lived that believed in helping out, they wouldn't stop believing in helping out just because they'd have to be dead. So what I was talking about earlier about Marshall Rosenberg, because even though they continue Center for Nonviolent Communication without him, but instead of going to that, nothing against that, but I really, I'm trying to think if I'd said this out on the live thing before, but if you ever have to go to sleep and wake up like just an hour later or 3 hours later and not have a big night's sleep, and you're afraid you're going to get really grouchy because you'll be underslept and you're going to have to meet with people that are very, very like cantankerous and always giving you and the world a really hard time every time you see them, but you still want to send them all the love in the world because love just is going to get somebody. The more love somebody gets, they're like, they might first go, suckers, I can do whatever I want, but then they're like, oh, I like being around these folks the most. That's the thing. That's how you get people. Like instead of scaring someone into being kind, like with Christmas Carol Scrooge, it's almost like, like you get 100 people rubbing this one person's neck going, oh, this feels better than like thinking that anybody's better than anybody and making these crazy decisions from, this boardroom. So what was it? Oh, so I was saying some Marshall Rosenberg. So if you go to YouTube and find some like things at least maybe a few hours long, maybe even 6 hours long of workshops that he's done with folks. Find this little 1-minute song he sings that he loves to sing towards the beginning. And it's just so like the joy you get from giving. That's really the essence. It's like you feel so glad that you get to give. It's not like, oh, you got to give. And that's what you wish. See, that's the thing. It's like some of the people that were there, the activists, in their mind's eye, some of the people that stormed the Capitol, they just had a sense of wonderment. I saw some footage, when it was going on, and just like what we were probably getting it just a little bit after, we were. And so, and it was wild. Did you see this moment where the folks are walking through the area and there's like the ropes, like kind of when you go into a bank or something, like to herd you through, and the folks just move the ropes a little wider, but didn't trample. And that's like everybody, whenever we've been in protests over the years, you think of, yeah, whose streets are streets? And people are like, where are they getting this chant from? They think it's theirs, and that's why I'll get people to get pissed at me. They're like, you broke the rhythm, because people will go, whose streets are streets? And I'm like, whose streets? And I'm like, everybody's streets. Jeff, shut up, get it more rhythmically. So it's not our streets. It's like, it's what we learn about every tribe that was here before us, and then what tribes were driven off by other tribes, what tribes like suddenly like got more aggressive, and so they flourish more, or the tribes or the people there. Look at Tibetans. Until a few hundred years ago, it was they were believing in war, and then when they stopped believing in war, they became the easiest to overrun. Which is why they're so taken advantage of. It's why, like, so you have their 2.5 miles up in the air. It could be up to like 3 miles in the air, and so that's where the most nuclear weapons are stored, by China, because they can have that slight advantage of going out, missiles out into they could like earlier launch, and but nobody who would to think like that, instead of going up to any metal, whether it's a bullet or whether it's just some metal and some rock that you just found or whatever, or it's a metal in the car that's surrounding you, that's giving some wonderful echoey sounds because you can sing healing songs to the earth. And it's like every metal has these songs going through it, and ricocheting and resonating and dancing joy of these songs. And even if you get fashioned into a gun or a bullet or a drone, you still like want to be kind. You don't have these terrible things pouring out of you, like everything up close. I remember when we were talking about this, because like when we went to protest at Hancock Air Force Base near Syracuse, New York, which used to be live Air Force folks, and it became, when we went there in the summer of 2012, it had been, I think, all drones. And then we remember reading about how about 30% of drones, and this would have been reading it then, so maybe reading about stats up to like 2011 or so, 2010 or whatever, how 30% of drones didn't go how they were supposed to. And then you wonder about, like, what's the reason? Did they just fail, or did they miss even worse? And the creepiest term ever is like collateral damage. It's like, okay, we're going to get this one generalissimo and these 10 people that are just family members who didn't sign up to be part of any war. And I wish, how dare anybody use anybody else for pawns of war? Is somebody about to serve the remaining 12 of his 14-month sentence for being part of that. Was one of the things I was putting up today. Look up Kings Bay Plowshares 7. Like plow, not OUGH, but PLOW shares. Kings Bay Plowshares. Plowshares moving since like September 1980, and beat swords into plowshares. And it's this Catholic worker movement. You don't have to be of any belief system, religious system, but it's these peaceniks, these amazing peaceniks, that they went and got arrested on the 50th anniversary of, which would have been 2018, April 4th, the 50th anniversary of the assassination of Martin Luther King, and they purposely got arrested at the this Georgia naval weapons base, this submarine base where you have nuclear-powered nuclear submarines that can fire nuclear weapons from the submarine. And so they went and got up. They broke up. They didn't all go into one place, but they went in. And it wasn't when Congress was in session, like yesterday, January 6th. Oh, we just passed midnight. Sorry, but instead it was. They went in and caused, they said, $30,000 of damage. They didn't actually hammer on missile tubes. The only thing they went near was a facsimile of, there were no bombs that they got up near. And they showed like these, it's just about 38 miles north of Jacksonville. It's Brunswick. What is it? In Georgia, it's, Brunswick is where the courthouse is. It's, and Lisa Godby Wood just said to, could you imagine being a prisoner and wanting to say, could you hold off on sentencing me until I can get the vaccine? Because prisoners, in terms of rungs of how they're treated, and it's the saddest thing on a state-by-state thing, it'd be like, because think of it, the people that needed most at-risk folks because of their illnesses, the elderly, that's, often 70 and older, can you imagine if every building in every city they were letting every homeless person live there? And just, seriously, if you own a lot of property and you have a lot of open space, watch how your blood pressure just gets really mellower and kinder. And if it's not, if you don't want, you want to do it quicker and eat amazing food, and it's antibiotic and it's antimicrobial and antiviral too. But it's if you eat onions, you'll totally lower your blood pressure. Seriously, you lower your cholesterol too. But you can, and they're also amazing cancer fighter. Someone I love so much, we got her doing a pound of onions a day. And I'll do like half a pound of onions a day. But seriously, I always wish people would do onions. Onions have this amazing antibiotic quality. So like if you're getting an earache or something, if you get a cut and you're far from being able to get near bacitracin, neosporin, you just get some onion juice, chew it up, or just get the pulp of the onion in there. Just like if you get an earache, you get some water in your ear, you're starting to get an earache. You know how they'll do you pay in a drugstore, you pay for garlic oil. Think of it, garlic and onions are cousins, and you just chew up and you just crush up really some onion and put like an onion, poultice or just in some onion puree there in your ear. I'll take it out after like 10 minutes. I mean, ask other people about it. I'm not saying I have any idea. I know nothing because I don't know your specific makeup. Maybe the last thing you should be doing is putting, pureed onion in your ear if you have an earache, because I don't know what your family history. I don't know. Maybe you have some great grandparent who had an amazing experience with an onion, and it's the last thing you're supposed to be doing. I don't know, but the joy of just checking in a million spots. That's why when people go, should I look it up on WebMD? I go, well, go to sites like Mayo Clinic, Johns Hopkins, Stanford Medical, Brigham and Women's, really good hospitals. So and sometimes they'll have like like once a month, or sometimes you can like type into the doctor if it happens to be on there, and you hope it's the real doctor. You hope the line hasn't been hijacked by your friends like just teasing you. Oh, yes, no, you have to sing to every bee that's ever been, and that's the way that you're going to get through this. Wait a minute. I could have been doing this whole time and just sing. All right, before I go, because we just hit an hour and 2 minutes. Sorry. Okay. Sorry. Okay. You could worry. You could sing from every worry. You could let every room be at home. Suddenly, here in the middle of your 12-hour shift, you decide to sing to flowers to give them a lift. They were feeling overworked, so you sang and you shifted. You got out of your bummed out mood. You sang to a flower to get it in a better mood. All right, so wait, hold on. So, wait a minute. So, D flat, that sound of the earth. Okay, hold on. Your face will get way lighter when you bring bunches of love for the sake of everyone on earth right now. Go try it out. Your face will get lighter and higher and kinder and more at home the second you don't mind turning in to love light for the sake of someone who's lost and scared on earth right now. Go and send some love light that you've ever thought of. Send it to anyone who might be stuck right now. Singen broken med bevisgrensen. The smell them boom boom. Or the papers no bam, or the papers knuckle up with the prison sleep. Even though it's with the solis, you know, we only know in the sheen. Begin to dance, we. It is filling. Stand up with your whole heart to every dictator, not just Trump, not just Trump. Stand up by singing love light to every dictator on every earth, not just Trump, not just Trump. Sing it to Moody, sing it to Orban, sing it to Erdogan, sing it to Xi. Send every healing love light to every dictator, so they'll suddenly find a way to be kinder right now. So send some miracles to Assad and Syria. So suddenly, can you imagine if every dictator just started waking up from every nap, just going, "What's going on?" Like they're convinced that they're every color they were scared to believe was as equal and beautiful as them. They're it, and every gender they were scared to believe that they also were, they're it. Every gender preference, that's it, they're it. Every age ever, every elder ever, every newt, every single cell amoeba, every bird that they thought they weren't, every tree that they were scared to like get close enough to see the sacred grain of. They're every tree, they're every creature of every age ever. Wow. I still didn't. I did finally see. Wait, no, I did. Did I see all of it, or I missed a little of it? I'm thinking of Benjamin Button, like growing the opposite direction there. Like you're singing to the heart of every being, and it's like you wish folks were getting more and more being like a baby. I guess when they, as they, when you do get little babies at first, you're really wrinkled, Um, that's one of the wilder, tougher, sadder things during COVID. You're just out less to see. You see less babies in the world, And then if you see a baby, you want to give them all the room in the world and not, because normally it would be like, like you just instantly fall in love with this baby, So the moms you knew from, they were getting bigger, and then now it's a few months later, and this baby's out in the world, and well, maybe this is maybe it'll keep folks from getting less dementia. Maybe people get less dementia because they'll have so many memory swims, like to recall all these best memories, these immune boosting. If you're like, oh, I can't get to my onions and turmeric today, because I got to wait a few days to be able, or they're out of them. Just that I could be in Western Massachusetts and be able to. Well, onions grow here, grow nearby, but in fact, a friend, one of the onions I had today, I had a couple onions today. One of the onions I had, thank you, was from Carlos's parents' farm. Hi, Carlos, I love you. Hope you're doing good. His parents' farm is just miles away. This is so big. Oh my God, this is like such. All right. I hope you're growing something in your life, maybe, or at least taking care of some plants. There's something about just taking care of something every day. I selfishly, I can't believe all these years I don't have a dog. Considering how crazy I am about dogs. And now I'm smiling at Max, because Max is like crazy about. Max is like too in love with me. That's Carlos's dog. But seriously, I tell Max I feel sad because Max just wants to hump my foot, and that's I'm honored, that Max always is so happy to see me. It's like little Tibetan, little. I have to get there. See, I'm not used to being on this screen here. So about this big, and he's very, very wonderful. And during the day, there's two dogs that turn one each. They both got born They both got born this month last year, both turning one. So two girls, the best friend dogs, and Maeve and Lola, just one floor down. So hi. And the river's waving high, and I should be quiet. Wait a minute. It's 109. Oh, 69. Okay, we can go up on that. All right. We're sending love to every being ever. We're shining love to every loving light. And if you think you are a stinker and you don't deserve love, we're going to shine it to you anyway, because nobody's born a stinker. You were like really amazing and warm-hearted at one moment in your life, and many moments in your life probably. And if we don't look for like the amazing, kind soul that you are, then we're failing. Well, what can work into my behavior? If I'm not looking for the amazing soul you are, then I'm failing. Okay, so last notes here. Wait, hold on. So up to D then. Let's listen out for the heart of every grandmother on earth right now. Let's ask every grandmother living on earth right now how they feel and what they would love us to sing nourishment towards right now. Who they would like us to sing love light to. Let's ask every grandmother right now. Thank you for being ever. Thank you for love light ever. Shining from every being on earth. Thank you for love light ever. Waving kindly from every being deep down on every earth. Deep down. You find us flying deep down. You find everything swimming deep down. You feel the soul of every love light ever. Shining helpful love light right now to anyone who needs it. We are shining love light forever and right now. Ooh, 72 minutes. Okay, we can go out on that. Okay, we love you and we love you.